Once, in a quiet town, nestled amid dark forests and forgotten trails, there lived a young boy named Tommy. His room overlooked a vast expanse of woods, and he loved gazing out of his window at night, counting stars and dreaming of adventures. But one fateful night, everything changed. As the clock struck midnight, a soft rustling sound stirred Tommy from his slumber. He sat up in bed, rubbing his eyes, trying to make sense of the noise. At first, he assumed it was just the wind dancing through the trees outside. But as he looked out of his window, he saw something that chilled him to the bone. Beyond the glass, illuminated by the pale moonlight, stood an immense shadow. It was a colossal figure with long, gnarled limbs that seemed to stretch into the abyss. Tommy's heart pounded in his chest as he watched the eerie silhouette. Its form seemed almost humanoid, but it was distorted, twisted into a shape no human could bear. Its eyes glowed like embers, fixated on him with a sinister gaze. Fear gripped Tommy, paralyzing him in place. He wanted to run, to hide under his blankets, but he couldn't tear his eyes away from the terrifying sight. The creature's presence filled him with an overwhelming sense of dread. As if sensing his fear, the monstrous figure raised one elongated arm and pressed it against the window pane. Its fingers were long and slender, like bony tendrils reaching for Tommy's very soul. Tommy couldn't breathe, couldn't move. The creature's touch felt cold and sinister, as if it was trying to claw its way into his room. With every passing moment, the room seemed to grow darker, as if the shadowy figure was draining the very light from the air. Summoning all his courage, Tommy finally managed to break free from his paralysis. He stumbled backward, away from the window, and huddled in the farthest corner of his room. He dared not look back outside, fearing the monstrous shadow would be waiting for him. Instead, he buried his face in his hands, trying to convince himself that it was all just a terrible dream. But the sound of the soft rustling persisted, creeping closer to his window. Tommy's heart sank, realizing that the nightmare was far from over. The creature was still out there, lurking in the shadows. In a desperate attempt to escape, Tommy clutched his stuffed bear and made a run for the door. He rushed down the hallway, seeking the safety of his parents' room. But as he reached their door, he found it closed, and the handle was icy cold. He hesitated, unsure if he should wake his parents and risk their anger. But the rustling grew louder. The presence of the creature felt even stronger. With a trembling hand, he pushed open the door. To his dismay, his parents' bed was empty. The room was silent, devoid of any sign of life. A sinking feeling gnawed at Tommy's gut. Where were his parents? Suddenly, a whisper filled the room, soft and haunting. "Come, Tommy," it beckoned. "Come to the window." Tommy's heart raced as he turned around. The window was open, the curtain billowing in the breeze. The shadowy figure loomed outside, its fingers beckoning him to come closer. "No," Tommy whispered, his voice trembling with fear. "Leave me alone." But the creature persisted, its whispers growing louder and more insistent. It seemed to weave its way into his mind, trying to control him, to draw him toward the window. With each step he took toward the open window, Tommy felt his willpower slipping away. The creature's gaze bore into him, draining him of his strength. He was powerless to resist its sinister allure. But just as he was about to reach the window, a sudden flash of light filled the room. Tommy's father stood in the doorway, holding a flashlight, his face etched with worry. "Tommy, what are you doing?" he asked, his voice trembling. Tommy blinked, the spell broken. He turned to look at the window, but the creature was gone, vanished without a trace. I saw a monster," Tommy stammered, tears streaming down his face. "It was huge, and it wanted me to come outside." His father hugged him tightly, reassuring him that it was just a bad dream. But Tommy knew the truth. The monstrous shadow had been real, and it had wanted something from him, something dark and malevolent. From that night on, Tommy never looked out of his window at night again. The colossal monster had left an indelible mark on his soul, a reminder that some shadows are not meant to be seen. They lurk just beyond the glass, waiting for a chance to ensnare unsuspecting souls in their sinister grasp.